Have you ever wished you could see through someone's actual intentions, as if you were seeing through a fog to expose the hidden route ahead? Imagine if you could discover a person's true essence in seconds, avoiding suffering and confusion before it begins. What if I told you that such clarity is within reach with a single inquiry that may reveal a narcissist faster than they can spin their next deception? In today's episode, we won't simply scrape the surface of narcissism. We'll look at their motivations, the fears and fragile egos that lead them to exploit the compassion of strangers like you. Perhaps you are a loving, generous spirit who finds fulfillment in encouraging others. However, the narcissist does not consider you a partner. They regard you as a resource to be used as long as it benefits their fragile sense of self. So, how can you defend yourself while maintaining your empathy? How do you discover their actual nature without becoming entangled in their web? The solution comes in knowing the intricate dynamics of their conduct and how to ask the one question that will readily reveal them. Stick with me as we go over the major indicators to look for. Explore 3 situations that will reveal their motivations and teach you how to regain control. Are you prepared to see with clear eyes and make decisions that defend your peace? Let us begin. Scenario #1. When you need to establish a barrier, imagine a gate that guards your inner serenity. A narcissist doesn't only want to pass past this barrier, they feel they have the right to destroy it altogether. In their universe, boundaries do not exist. Only their needs count. That is why a simple no disturbs them so greatly. Narcissists thrive on dominance and entitlement. If they have previously been permitted to transgress your borders, they see this as proof of their entitlement to do so again. They do not view boundaries as gestures of self-respect. They are personal affronts, challenges to their fragile feeling of superiority, which they use to hide their anxieties. Imagine telling a youngster no. For a little while, their world crumbles as they are seized by the urgency of their needs. But a narcissist is not a child. They understand their activities and how to use social conventions to attain their objectives. Unlike a child's harmless immaturity, a narcissist's persistence is intentional and purposeful. Their attractiveness is a skillfully crafted facade that hides an unwavering concentration on their own interests. When interacting with such a person, you must understand that justifying or explaining your boundaries is pointless. A narcissist does not strive to comprehend. They seek opportunities. The more straightforward your viewpoint, the stronger it is. A calm, unambiguous remark such as, "I cannot agree to that," or "that does not work for me," is sufficient. A healthy individual may be disappointed, but they will respect your decision. A narcissist, on the other hand, would respond with deceptive questions intended to break down your determination. They may wonder, "Why not?" or say, "What's so important that you can't do this for me?" They can dismiss the issue by stating, "It's not like I'm asking for much." These are not real queries, but traps designed to instill guilt or uncertainty. Maintaining one's composure is essential for standing steady. Repeat your stance quietly and consistently. "I can't agree with it." Many people mistake the narcissist's tenacity for a misunderstanding of limits, but the fact is that they well comprehend. Their purpose is not to understand but to test your commitment. When they persevere, as they will, it is not an indication of stupidity, but rather of calculation. With only one inquiry, you may remove their mask. "You appear to be more concerned with your own wants than mine. Is this intentional?" This inquiry gets right to the heart of their conduct, pushing people to face their selfishness. However, don't expect this conflict to end with introspection or an apology. Instead, expect a powerful reaction. After asking this inquiry, avoid the temptation to fill the void or justify oneself. Instead, observe. One useful strategy is to softly hum a tune in your head, something as simple as "Happy Birthday." This simple step allows you to remain cool and disconnected, allowing you to watch their answer without being involved in their emotional game. What follows will tell you all you need to know. A narcissist may become angry and accuse you of selfishness or irrationality. They could say, "How dare you accuse me of that?" or say, "You're the one who's being unreasonable." Their purpose is to frighten you into complying. Others may change tactics and play the part of a victim, appealing to your sympathies with words like, "I can't believe you treat me this way," or "All I tried to do was help, and this is how I was rewarded." Their goal here is to elicit guilt in the hopes that you would relent out of sympathy. Others may simulate compromise, stating, "Let us find a solution that works for both of us," or reduce your barrier with, "I'm not sure why this is a big problem." While this may appear logical at first, it frequently acts as a precursor to another attempt to undermine your stance later. There is one noticeable missing from all of these comments: genuine regard for your requirements. A narcissist's primary goal is to keep control and defend their image, not to foster mutual respect or understanding. Their goal is not to modify their conduct for the sake of progress, but rather to influence how they are seen. Cleanthes reminds us that we have control over our brains, not external occurrences. Realize this, and you will gain strength. A narcissist's responses are beyond our control, but we have complete control over our response. By standing strong on our limits, we recapture the authority they attempt to undermine. Boundaries are more than just boundaries. They are statements of self-respect. They reflect our beliefs, objectives, and devotion to our own well-being. Every time we enforce them, we prove our worth. However, this is not a simple process. Narcissists are unrelenting in their manipulations, which may be emotionally draining. Holding our stand, however, requires bravery and progress. Each time we do this, we enhance our ability to keep the peace. The next time you need to create a boundary, remember that simplicity is your ally. Avoid providing explanations or reasons. State your stance clearly and firmly. When confronted with manipulation, halt and watch rather than respond. And when their reactions reveal their genuine motives, let that clarity guide your decisions. Musonius Rufus argues that no one is free unless he is master of himself. By establishing and maintaining boundaries, we retake control over our lives. We choose self-respect over conformity, clarity over uncertainty, and calm over turmoil. This option is both a kind of resistance and a statement of our identity. It is the route of knowledge, and it is well worth following. Scenario number 2 involves challenging their falsehoods. If you've spent even a few minutes with a narcissist, you've most definitely experienced dishonesty. For them, lying is more than just a habit. It is a manner of being. They lie not just to manipulate, but also for seemingly no purpose at all. Their lies can take various forms, some overt, such as outright fabrications, and others more subtle, such as exaggerations or intentionally omitted data. Whether they distort the facts into something unrecognizable or gently change them to fit their story, you will ultimately reach a point where the dishonesty is too obvious to ignore, and you feel obligated to confront them. When we question someone who values honesty, they frequently respond with humility and a desire for solutions. When a healthy person is discovered in a lie or misunderstanding, they usually apologize, clarify, or try to repair trust. However, a narcissist functions on a whole other level. For them, falsehoods are instruments for control, and being exposed is an attack on their carefully created character. Consider this strategy the next time you're confronted with a narcissist's web of deception. Begin by quietly asking, "Could you explain why your version of the story contradicts what actually happened?" This question shifts the weight of explanation onto them, removing any emotional energy from your end of the conversation. Narcissists thrive in chaotic circumstances where emotions obscure clarity and allow them to dominate via confusion and intimidation. By maintaining a cool and impartial tone, you neutralize their customary strategies. This inquiry pushes them into unknown terrain. They prefer to function on their own terms, spinning denial, accusations, and defensiveness like a tornado to keep you off guard. But adding calm reasoning into the equation disrupts their rhythm. Expect discomfort. When presented with a situation that they cannot readily disregard, a narcissist will struggle. Once you've posed the inquiry, avoid the impulse to fill the quiet. Instead, silently sing happy birthday in your brain. It may sound unusual, but this technique is a simple way to stay grounded. It occupies your attention, keeps your emotions in check, and prevents you from succumbing to their deceptive tactics. Prepare for their potential reactions. The first and most prevalent emotion is rage. Narcissists frequently use fury to scare their victims into submission. This might range from outright wrath to subtle yet stinging allegations designed to damage your confidence. The second common response is denial. They may openly deny saying or doing anything contrary, even in the face of irrefutable proof. Denial is their technique of avoiding accountability and humiliation. The third, and maybe most sinister response, is gaslighting. This is an extreme kind of denial that shifts the emphasis away from their actions and toward you. They may inquire about your memory, perception, or even your mental stability. Suddenly, you're defending yourself against allegations of being too sensitive, untrustworthy, or irrational, rather than debating their lies. Gaslighting is more than simply avoiding responsibility. It also erodes your trust in your own judgment. Despite this, one critical component will always be missing: a sincere desire to clear up uncertainty or restore harmony. A narcissist isn't interested in fixing the matter or giving you peace of mind. Their primary interest is self-preservation and keeping the appearance of power. Musonius Rufus reminds us of our Stoic identity. It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you handle it. The narcissist's falsehoods and manipulations are external phenomena that we cannot influence. What stays completely under our control is our answer. By refusing to be sucked into their pandemonium and remaining calm and grounded, we reclaim the control they strive to destroy. When confronted with dishonesty, remember that the truth requires no defense. It simply is. Narcissists may distort reality, but their falsehoods are ultimately a reflection of their own vulnerability, not a judgment on your value. Approach these occasions with clarity and calm, not for their sake, but for your own tranquility. Recognizing their strategies and being logical is more than just a strategy for dealing with them. It's an act of self-preservation. Finally, you cannot compel a narcissist to confront the truth. Rather, you may choose to shield yourself from their delusions. By doing so, you respect your own integrity, which no falsehood can ever ruin. Scenario 3. Narcissists thrive in circumstances where they may operate without being challenged or held accountable. Their strength stems from the quiet of those who support them, allowing their harmful behaviors to continue unabated. But perhaps you've had enough of insults, contempt, and being treated like a child in an endless timeout. Isn't it exhausting? However, the remedy is not to beg, weep, or play the victim in the hopes that they would change. That way simply fuels the cycle. Instead, consider asking one of these effective disarming questions. The first is, why do you want me to put your needs over mine, even if it means hurting me? This inquiry immediately tackles their attitude of entitlement, compelling them to explain why they believe their demands should be met at your cost. Another thing to ask, especially when they speak to you disrespectfully, is why do you believe it is appropriate to speak to me in this manner? These questions are not designed to stimulate a true conversation with a narcissist, such as unlikely to occur. Instead, they are instruments for exposing their lack of accountability and providing a moment of clarity for you. When asked, a healthy individual who has just committed a mistake elicits instant contemplation. A person with integrity will catch himself, apologize, and express real sorrow. Not so for a narcissist. This is when things get more revealing. Narcissists frequently cannot resist the chance to establish power or dominance, even if it exposes their destructive character. They will respond to these queries without consideration or guilt. Instead, they will add another layer of insult. You could hear something like, "You deserved it. If you hadn't done X, I wouldn't have had to talk to you like that." This reaction shifts the blame to you, portraying you as the issue. And therein lies the clue: utter lack of responsibility. In this time, you may experience a surge of rage or an overpowering need to protect oneself. That is natural. However, this is exactly the trap they want you to fall into. The emotional dance that fuels the poison. If you lash out, retreat, or over-explain, they will grasp the chance to change the story. See, you are the true problem. This is why preparedness is essential. Before speaking with a narcissist, practice your questions and prepare yourself emotionally. One useful strategy is to discreetly sing happy birthday in your brain after asking your query. It may sound strange, but it has a purpose. It occupies your thoughts, preventing you from reacting emotionally, and giving you the opportunity to watch their behavior objectively. But here's a word of warning. Narcissists are specialists at psychological endurance. They can outsmart you by utilizing quiet as a weapon. Their famed silent treatment is intended to make you uncomfortable, entice you to speak first, and give up the control you've just claimed. They may use a penetrating, snake-like look to heighten the tension, knowing that most people struggle with extended quiet. Don't fall for it. You may have to sing happy birthday secretly 6 or 10 times, but don't give up. In this case, silence works in your favor. Resisting the impulse to break it denies them the control they seek. After you've held firm, the dynamic changes. You now know the truth about them, and they are aware of it. This awareness is crucial. Narcissists fear being exposed because their power is based on the illusion they create. When the veneer crumbles, they will scurry to re-establish control, but you now have the insight to counter their techniques. The next question is, what should you do with this knowledge? Stoic philosophy tells us that true serenity comes from managing our own responses rather than altering others. Cleanthes wrote, "You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this and you will gain strength. You cannot compel a narcissist to change, and you should not exhaust yourself trying. Instead, concentrate on maintaining your serenity, protecting your boundaries, and developing the inner fortitude to break free from their mess. This increased understanding may lead you to confront them more, explain their shortcomings, or demand that they acknowledge the pain they've caused. But this too is a trap. Narcissists do not want understanding, rather, they desire control. The more energy you put into attempting to make people see, the more you fuel the cycle you want to break. Instead, shift your emphasis inside. Recognize that refusing to let their harmful conduct is a great act of self-respect. Stepping out of their manipulative dance allows you to restore your individuality and self-worth. This is not about winning a war with them. It's about breaking away from the pressure to participate in their games at all. There is wisdom in knowing when to walk away, in accepting that not every conflict is ours to wage. As Musonius Rufus points out, it is not the events themselves that bother us, but our perception of them. A narcissist's conduct is a mirror of their own inner struggle, not an assessment of your worth. By refusing to tolerate their poison, you reject the false narrative they attempt to impose on you. Remember, quiet does not vanquish a narcissist. The clarity that comes with it. When you remain steadfast in the face of their manipulations, you deprive them of their control over your emotions. This is the ultimate act of freedom, not controlling others, but no longer being dominated by them. Breaking the loop may not be simple, but it is worthwhile. Each time you refuse to condone their actions, you get closer to a life of more serenity, strength, and clarity. According to Zeno of Citium, we frequently suffer more in our imaginations than in reality. Let us stop imagining their power over us and instead focus on the reality of our own resilience. You have the ability to remain firm, walk away, and maintain your peace. That power is yours alone, unchangeable and unaffected by the chaos of others. And deciding to exercise it is the first step toward recovering your freedom. You see, narcissists are not always easy to identify. However, as we learn to delve deeper into their falsehoods, responses to boundaries, and efforts to draw us into their destructive behaviors, their actual character becomes apparent. These simple questions, when asked attentively, not only reveal who people are, but also help us restore our calm, clarity, and control over our own emotions. This isn't about changing them, which is beyond our power, but about adjusting how we respond, preserving our serenity, and asserting our own value. According to the Stoics, genuine power comes from dominating oneself rather than manipulating others. If what you've learned today has helped you better understand how to deal with narcissists in your life, please like this video, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and share your ideas or experiences in the comments. Your tale may inspire and encourage someone else on their path. Remember, you are not alone in this. Every step you take to stand your ground and keep the peace is a little win that brings you closer to breaking free from harmful patterns. Don't forget, our next video will show you even more strategies to not only detect but also master every contact with challenging individuals. Let us continue to develop a strong and peaceful life together. See you in the next video, where we'll learn even more ways to handle life's obstacles with resilience and clarity. You have this, and we will get there together.